I thought I'd bring the review outside for a change, only because it's such a nice day. We have a little bit of an overcast, but it's still hot. But this is the unit in a nutshell. You have your battery compartment, your fan unit, and then your cooling tube. Now this cooling tube is made out of rubber and very, very, very flexible, and actually I wouldn't call it flimsy, but not much pressure to collapse this tubing. So keep that in mind when you're attaching this to your helmets, your goggles, or whatever gear that you're going to be using it on. It runs off of 4 AAA batteries, and it has one screw here that you would use a Phillips head screwdriver to take the cover off, and you have your battery set up. When I got the unit, it had Velcro on one side. Now, the Velcro was also on the same side as the switch for the power to power it on and off. I found that to be a little bit of an inconvenience because this is the Velcro side. The Velcro side is going to be down on something. So in order to turn it on and off, you would have to rip it off, turn it on, place it back, and vice versa. So what I did was I took some of the extra Velcro that it came with. Now the package does come with some Velcro patches, some spare Velcro, and I put it on the other side. So I have the option of mounting it one way or the other. And it's worked out pretty good for me so far. Now what you have with this unit is you Velcro it to, let's say, my ProTech helmet. I'll show you how I had it. I put some Velcro patches here on the ProTech helmet. This came with the industrial, or I guess you can call it the hard plastic hook and loop setup, is what the unit comes with on it. I had some spare regular hook and loop, or just Velcro, the one that's made with the cloth type, and I placed that on here as well. Now, in order to use it, if you look here, this is the hook and loop. I placed the battery unit on here. Now you have an option, because I put Velcro here and Velcro here, I could run the fan on the other side of the helmet here, just to spread things out a little bit. But if you go to actionfan.com and look at how they have it set up on some of their pictures where they are showing examples of its use, you can also put the fan on top of the control unit. And what that does is it keeps everything together, nice and compact to an extent. Now if you look here, it's not very compact even when you do it this way. That is one of the downfalls of this setup. It's kind of bulky, kind of big. It also comes with these straps where you can use it to strap down the tubing. Now, to show you how I had it, I'll put it back the way I had it a second ago. Now I had the tubing here, and I ran the tubing through the straps. So I had the tubing through the straps, and then I ran the end of the tube into one of the top holes here in the top of the helmet. Right, now what that did was it guides the end of the tube toward the front of the helmet. However it works for you is how you want to use it. You want to modify the setup or customize the setup for it to work best for you. With it on, you don't notice the tubing coming down the top, and because of the way I had it run through the helmet, it pointed right down into my goggles. Now I've used the ESS turbofan goggles, some real ones, some clone ones, and quite a few other not airsoft, but paintball masks, full face masks, and I did not notice fogging. That's in 100% humidity here in Florida, also at indoor facilities where there's no AC, as well as places with AC. It kept the fogging to a minimum, if it fogged at all. Now, for effectiveness, I give this product a 5. 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. Effectiveness, it works really well for what it's designed for. Could it be a little bit better? If it had a stronger fan, maybe yes, but then with a stronger fan you get more noise. This unit as it is isn't very loud at all. Actually, when you have it on, you barely notice that it's on. There's only one speed, on and off. So I doubt you guys are picking up the sound. Maybe you are. It's very minute. It's not a lot. It's not enough to get in the way or interfere with you using your comms or just communicating in games at all. No issues, no worries there. Now, I did mention how bulky the unit was, and that is a problem for us because once you put this on and then you add goggles to the setup, your head is, you have a lot of stuff. And then for a person like me who runs cameras, camera rigs and all that stuff, I just walk around with a whole bunch of stuff on my head. When you add this fan to the equation, it just seems like overkill. Does it work? Yes. But the size of the unit is what may be a problem for some users. And then there are those guys out there who like to look good when they're playing. And we know that, you know, you hear this all the time. Airsoft is 90% fashion show. So this one is not going to win you the best dressed, or it may get you the most tactical because you have so many accessories attached to your helmet. But, you know, the size of the switch is very small. And when you have on your gloves, it may be a little hard to feel and, you know, activate. But, again, it's not a deal breaker. The wiring, this is, I would say, 18 gauge wiring, and it seems very flimsy, so you have to be really careful with that. Now, one thing I did want to point out, when I have my goggles on, I run the strapper on the outside of the helmet. Depending on how tight I run it, it can collapse this tubing, and has collapsed this tubing. Now, you can run this setup without the tubing. You can take the tubing off and put the fan inside the helmet and run it that way if you wanted to. Sky's the limit on how you run it, how you use it, how well it works for you. It depends on how you want to deploy the unit. I'm going to put the link in the description, a little bit more information, and write out how I really feel about the item. Like I said, usability or its effectiveness, I give it a 5 out of 5. The size and bulkiness of it, I'd have to give it a 2 out of 5. Build quality, I'm going to have to go 3.5 out of 5 because it's not bad, it's just not great. And we know we play a rough game. When you're running around in the woods or CQB sliding around all over the place, stuff like this can get caught on stuff and rip very easily. I would have liked to have seen the switch on the outside of the unit, or at least along the side of the unit. The wiring may be a little bit thicker or a little bit heavier heat shrink on it. And a little bit smaller, just a little bit smaller. They could have gotten away with running just 2 AA batteries and bringing this unit down a little bit. The 4 AA batteries do offer you, I haven't had to change the battery since I put them in 2 months ago. And when I go out and play, I run these, I would say there's a constant run time of at least 6 hours at games because sometimes I forget to turn them off. And these batteries have been running strong for the 2 months that I've had this unit. Now, this unit was provided to me by the good folks over at thegearlocker.net. And if you haven't checked out the podcast and their website and their Facebook page, you need to go and check that out. These guys are testing new equipment, gear, they're doing reviews, they're writing articles, they're doing all types of stuff. They're making a huge impact. And they haven't been in the community for as long as I have, but they're making a huge impact. And you should go and check those guys out because they're talking about events, like I said, guns, gear, everything that will help you enjoy airsoft to the fullest, and also some real steel stuff, real world operator type stuff. Alright guys, so again, that's thegearlocker.net. They have a podcast, they have a website, they have their Facebook page. They're out there, they're all over the place. In this portion of the testing, I wanted to show you guys how much force is coming out of this thing. This water test, I'm going to put the end of the tube here. I'm barely going to skim the top. Not sure if you guys can really tell. But like I said, it's more of a soft breeze. Now here we go, submerged a little bit. popping of the bubbles in the water is louder than the fan unit itself. Now you notice the more I submerge it, you're not getting anything at all. That's because now the air is coming back through the fan. It's not enough pressure coming from the fan itself to cause it to blow bubbles once you make it a little bit deeper. Again, I think that has a lot to do with why it's so quiet and the long run time. There's not a lot of stress on the put on the unit for it to operate under normal conditions. It's a very, very, very soft breeze. I wish there was more of a way for me to show you. Now this is Schwell. I hope you guys are out there having fun, being safe, and also being responsible. I hit you with the 2 fingers, and stay tuned for more video reviews. I think I'm going to start putting it back in the overdrive, putting it as a priority on my list of things to do on a daily basis is get back to making these videos. Again, I want to get back to the basics, not sponsored stuff, not all of this stuff and that stuff. Buy stuff, do reviews, help you guys get out there and enjoy the sport. I'll test it. I'll be the guinea pig so you don't have to be. Alright guys, later.